Okay, Chelsea, instead of doing somewhat doom and gloom, I actually have a good idea. I'm going to do a follow-up on a way long ago episode. And it's not really a follow-up, it's just following in the trajectory of that episode. We're going to talk about that negative impact of lawns.
Oh, okay.
In a weird roundabout way. And an article that actually came out on January 21st, 2026 from UC Davis Health. Written by Lisa Howard, article title, Trees, Not Grass and Other Greenery Associated with Lower Heart Disease Risk in Cities.
Really?
New research analyzing 350 million street view images finds urban tree canopies may reduce cardiovascular disease while grassy areas may increase it. Multi-institutional study led by the University of California, Davis finds that living in urban areas with a higher percentage of visible trees is associated with a 4% decrease in cardiovascular disease. By comparison, living in an urban area with a higher percentage of grass was associated with a 6% increase in cardiovascular disease. Likewise, a higher rate of other types of green space like bushes or shrubs were associated with a 3% increase in cardiovascular disease. Quote, our findings suggest public health interventions should prioritize the preservation and planting of tree canopies in neighborhoods, end quote, said Peter James. First author of the study, James is an associate professor at UC Davis Department of Public Health Sciences and director of the Center for Occupational and Environmental Health. Quote, urban forestry initiatives and policies that protect mature trees are likely to yield greater cardiovascular health benefits and compared to investments in grass planting, end quote, James said. In 2023, more than 900,000 people died from cardiovascular disease in the US. That's the equivalent of 1 in every 3 deaths, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Oh man, from a time you could trust them. Cardiovascular diseases are serious conditions that affect the heart and blood vessels. This includes problems with the heart, such as arrhythmia, heart valve disease, and heart failure. And problems with blood vessels like blood clots, including strokes, and peripheral artery disease. Previous research using satellite imagery has shown that urban green spaces can be beneficial to public health, but satellite imagery can classify a wide range of vegetation as green space. Quote, satellite imagery has allowed for important new understandings about how the landscapes built and natural can influence human health. But because the view is from above, far, far above, and lumps all types of vegetation into one category, it can mask differences that may be significant, end quote, James explained. James is a prominent researcher known for innovative use of street-level imagery and satellite imagery in environmental health research. Street-level imagery, most commonly derived from the platform Google Street View, captures neighborhood environments photographed from the vantage point of what a pedestrian would see and has been increasingly used in public health research. The new study was among the first to create a street-level assessment of how trees, grasses, and other green spaces would impact cardiovascular health. The researchers used deep learning to analyze more than 350 million trees, street view images, to estimate how much of each neighborhood was covered by trees, grass, or other green space. They then linked those findings to nearly 89,000 women in the ongoing Nurses' Health Study. They determined that the type and percentage of greenery, trees, grass, or other green spaces within about 500 meters of each participant's home address.
Interesting.
Then they compared the types and percentage of greenery in 18 years of the health data, including medical records and death certificates, to determine which study participant developed cardiovascular disease. The researchers found that higher percentage of visible trees were associated with a 4% lower coincidence of cardiovascular disease. The association between more visible trees and lower incidence of cardiovascular disease was consistent even when stratified by factors such as population density, census region, air pollution, and neighborhood socioeconomic status. The researchers were surprised by the potentially harmful association with grass and other green spaces, but the surprise findings highlighted the importance of disaggregated green space data to better understand cardiovascular effects. The author suggests that there may be multiple reasons for the unexpected negative association, including an increased use of pesticides, air quality impacted from mowing, lower cooling capacity compared to trees, and lower capacity to filter noise and air pollution. Additional research may help identify the unique environmental factors that can adversely impact cardiovascular risk. The study had several limitations. First, the cohort is all female and primarily white, which limits generalizability due to the relatively homogeneous racial and socioeconomic backgrounds of participants. Also, researchers used the nurses' residential addresses, which don't capture how they spent their time, for example at work, or how they interacted with other green spaces, And Street View images only represent a snapshot in time and cannot see private green spaces that may influence health, such as the backyard gardens. Despite these limitations, the findings offer significant insights. Quote, the research opens a promising new avenue improving cardiovascular health through community-level environmental changes rather than relying solely on individual lifestyle choices, end quote, said Erica Rim, co-author of the study. Rim is professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School and of epidemiology and nutrition at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. Quote, heart disease has such an enormous impact on the Western world that even moving the needle slightly towards earlier prevention can make a meaningful difference, end quote, Rim said. That's the end of the article. Chelsea, what do you think?
Does that mean that doctors should be like, when you can tell that there's some cardiovascular... I'm not a doctor, so don't rate my eloquentness of putting this. Do you live near trees?
Well, they might be saying, like, what do you have planted in your yard, or what's your community look like?
Yeah, if not, we're gonna.
And they might even say, we're gonna have to be pulling this out. You're at risk of a heart attack. We need you to pull out all that grass and put in a tree. And
plant some trees and have them grow real quick. It's super interesting.
It really is. And, like, really think about that. Like, a 4% decrease versus a 6% increase.
Yeah,
so we're crazy. Talking about 900,000 people a year that this impacts. That's a 10% swing, or 90,000 people.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. And doesn't even make sense to me, but that's a crazy correlation, like grass versus trees. Thank goodness I have some trees outside of my house.
Yeah, but they did point out, like, there's some interesting parts of it. I do also think it'd be interesting to compare that to somebody who lives with, like, a lack of green, whether or not that has a difference too. But we've seen it too with, like, golf courses impacting the local water supply when it's groundwater that you're getting.
Yeah.
The pesticides, we don't really know the full impact on the human life that it has. The lawnmowers, they have CO2. Maybe there's going to be an impact with batteries doing this now, but you're also potentially having your only exercise be every other week mowing the grass. And like they said, like, the stressors include noise pollution, which trees can block.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe you just have a less stressed lifestyle. But maybe also this doesn't impact men at all. And actually, it is one of those very gendered stereotypes, is men are the ones who take care of the yard. So maybe they're actually getting the health benefit of having the yard, not looked at because it's the women that are in this longitudinal study.
So many implications.
Yeah. And hey, you guys got 48 hours. Yeah. Think of more and email these guys. Maybe they'd like that. I don't know.
Maybe email
Tell them we
us.
sent you.
We have got no emails.
We were just talking about that.
Send us some. Okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, bye.
Bye.